It was about 6 a.m. on a Sunday, somewhere in Erie County, when the drug high faded. Their massive drug collection had now dwindled to a few bottles of bourbon and some Dunhills. Dr. Gonzo and Hunter had been snorting, drinking and smoking their way through it all. But now it was gone. All of it. Not just the drugs, but the world. The American dream had crawled from the grave and now was hell-bent on devouring any poor soul that got in its path for vengeance. Hunter and Gonzo had wanted to end it all. But then they had received a mysterious call from a Ranger 33. That is all Hunter could remember. The rest of the evening was a blur of colour and drug-induced apocalyptic fear and loathing. The evening passed and the morning came. This is the tale of how Hunter died. What was that banging? He thought. There was one of those things in the house. Had it been there all night while they partied, and they just didn't remember? Perhaps its thumping had become part of the music. He needed a weapon. Fast. A gun. A machete. Perfect. This will do fine, he thought. Damn this headache! He searched. All that was left were antidepressants. Oh, well, he thought. Down we go. He grabbed his shotgun, loaded it, but then thought twice. The sound of it would bring the hordes. He wasn't ready for that. Not now. Not yet. And finally, that incessant thumping had ended, or at least the one outside his head. The one inside still thumped on. He lit a cigarette. That's better, he thought. A small slice of heaven in hell. He searched for Gonzo and found him drugged out of his mind on the porch. Or at least that's what he hoped. Hunter kicked him, but he didn't move. Instead, he hauled Dr. Gonzo to the Black Buffalo, slumped him in the chair, started it, and drove off, just hoping it was the drugs. The drive out of this town was much like the one in. Hunter and Gonzo had arrived in a dense mind fog induced by drugs and delirium, but now they were leaving in a literal fog, unable to see or even remember how they got here. He drove and drove, drank and drank the last of their reserves. Where was he going? Ranger 33, he suddenly remembered. But Dark Falls, that's where she said she was. Dark Falls was quite the drive, and there was no way he was going there in this mind state. He needed drugs, morphine, keg, anything, God willing, cocaine. There was an army facility up ahead. Maybe they had drugs. If not, then the next town. They had a bar, he remembered that much. At least they could jack up on bourbon, vodka, beer, and fine cigars before rescuing 33 and rescuing his mind from this hell. He explained all this to his attorney as he cruised along the road, but he just laid there, completely lost in whatever mad trip held him captive, or at least that's what Hunter hoped. The thought of him dead was something he wasn't ready to face yet. He drank some booze, took some pills to kill the thoughts. He got out the van. More zombies. Once he dealt with them, he searched the tent. No drugs, just more pills. Anger and fear grew. There were more tents, more chances. There had to be more. There had to be something. Tired, he took out his jar of coffee and munched on the dry powder like a turtle chomping on gravel. He sees another med tent and more undead. After dispatching of them, he checks the tent until finally he finds a way. But once again, nothing. Inside he rages and burns for a high and escape from this hell. Back to the Black Buffalo he marched, stomping through the grass, while hoping his attorney wasn't zombie food. Hunter entered the van, and when he glanced at Gonzo, he almost admitted the man was dead. No, nothing can kill this man, he thought. He was an overpowered mutant stomping his way through the end of the world. He had no further time to ponder this, because the mojo wire rang. It was her, Ranger 33. So it wasn't the drugs. She was real. "Hello," she said. He didn't remember giving her his number. "Are you coming?" she said, rather calm. It was disturbing. He assured her the best he could, trying to keep his voice steady. "We'll be there soon." The phone clipped off, just as a snarl was heard. Hunter hit the gas, sped down the road, missed the turning. He crashed the Buffalo hard. His head hurt. He was bleeding. Blood trickled down his chin. There was another medical tent. Any sane man would have sought medicine or ammo, but all he could focus on was the dark call of his addiction. Nothing. Nothing. No time to be angry. More zombies came. He had to secure a house for the night, somewhere for him and Gonzo to sleep. It was too late now to head to Dark Falls, and too late to storm the bar. After finally securing the house, Hunter and Gonzo settled down for the evening. His attorney was starting to stink. Hunter cleaned himself up and slept the best he could. The next day they finally arrived at the bar, but there was no quiet way in. Zombies everywhere. It would have to be noisy. Was this the end, he thought. He ran and ran, hoping to find a clear spot. More and more came, and he knew he was in the shit when he turned a corner and a massive wave of them burst from the door. The whole town was flooding. He truly was fucked. He tripped, lost his glasses and hat, an outlaw stripped of his badge. This was terrifying, and it was beginning to rattle his system, but he had dealt with fear before, the complex, dense fear of a drug high gone wrong. This wasn't complex though. This was simple shit yourself fear. He could handle this. He needed to be smart. He needed to take them into the woods, away from the bar, then quietly sneak away. It worked. He gathered his glasses and hat, dispatched the remaining zombs in the bar. Cigars, beer, wine, booze, but no drugs. Never mind. This was a win. He took the moment to enjoy a cigar, and while he toked, he felt like an outlaw once again, in a living world of people, and all those he loved were still around. The zombies quickly popped that bubble though. Now he had to fight his way back. It was a long drive to Dark Falls, plenty of time to think, and plenty of booze to wash away reality. He looked to his attorney, slumped in the chair beside him, and a deep sadness touched him. "Sleep, sleep," he screamed, "sleep." Things will be better in the morning. He'll wake, he'll be fine. In the morning, all will be fine. He slept. But things weren't fine. His attorney was dead. He had to admit that now. Everyone he knew was dead. All that remained was Ranger 33. She was the tiny light in the dark world. He drove for a long time in silence. He lay gonzo by the river. He thought that poetic, and the best he could do under the circumstances. Gonzo deserved more. A rocket to the stars which shot his body into space. That is how Hunter would go, and his mind would wander the universe, where its strange beauty would find a home. He saluted Gonzo with a cigar and a bourbon, and thought back on all they had been through, and all he had lost. The next day, it was a long drive to Dark Falls alone, and all he could do to keep the hell away was drink. He drank and drank until he passed out by the side of the road. The next morning, the final day, he woke, started the Black Buffalo for the last time, and drove to meet his destiny. He arrived just in time to hear a scream. All was silent. She had to be alive. No way could he be a solo rider at the end of the world. He searched the house, the bedroom, the back. She was nowhere to be found. Another zombie. Wait. He pinned it to the floor and checked the name tag. Ranger 33. His journey was complete. She was gone. Football season really was over. No more games, no more walking, no more fun. This won't hurt, he thought.